G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. And yes, you are here because it's the European Champions Cup final, Leinster versus Toulouse. Yeah, this was a really interesting game. It went for over 100 minutes into extra time before Toulouse was able to close out the game 31 points to 22. For the first 80 minutes was really rather lackluster. Both teams were botching their opportunity to score tries and end up just trading penalties, 15 points apiece going into the extra time. And finally, in extra time, I thought Leinster had this one in the bag when Richie Arnold, the Wallaby, had a red card for putting his shoulder in a clean-out onto Cian Healy. And I thought that was it. I thought surely Leinster would be able to take that advantage and ride that into the sunset with the win. No. Toulouse was able to control the game for 10 minutes with a play in the bin. And not only they were able to control the game, but able to force penalties at the breakdowns. Leinster was just really ill-disciplined, shooting themselves on the foot, getting a little bit frustrated by the occasion maybe. And allowing Toulouse to chip away 3 points at a time and eventually winning the match, 31 points to 22. I did feel like Leinster maybe lacked a little bit of that experience that Johnny Sexton used to bring into the team, and it was really evident in that extra time period when Leinster was clearly had the advantage and they just kind of like looking at each other and not able to execute, feeling frustrated. There was a couple of drop goal attempts and Frowley was not able to get the drop goals. And I think Leinster fans will be very disappointed by the end, looking at the end of that performance. They completely should have won that. There was also a very interesting finish to the game. Leinster, obviously, you can see here, down by 9 points, and the clock is red and had a penalty. And Leinster decided to go for the try. I thought this was just a bit of show for the fans. There was no chance for them to actually win the game at this point. But apparently, according to the commentary, Leinster could still win the game if a professional foul occurs after the try has been scored. Yeah, so there's a really slim chance where, say, if Leinster scores the try and one of the Toulouse players desperately trying to save a try and lands on the Leinster player on the head with his knee, that will be a penalty after a try has been scored. Then, according to the law book, I had to look this one up as well, Leinster will be able to kick a penalty after the conversion from the 50-meter mark. Yeah, and that would have won them the game. If they kicked that through, that would have been 10 points. It would have won the game by 1. So, yeah, that's something that you learn. You learn something every day. I did not know that's even possible. But, hey, that is legitimately a thing that could occur. There was also a very interesting thing happened in the second half where one of the touch judges showed that he failed the referee exam. And Matthew Carley, the starting referee, had to educate him on the laws during the game. The touch judge, one of the assistant referee, had to educate the assistant referee on the laws. So the reserve hooker, Julien Maconde from Toulouse, hurt his leg, was taken off the field. Now, ordinarily, if a player is taken off the field, unless it's a HRA or a blood bin, they can only be replaced by a reserve that has not been onto the field. They can't just bring someone back onto the field to replace that. But this law is exempt for the front rowers for the purpose of scrummaging. So the assistant referee was telling the referee, hey, Toulouse has ran out of reserves. This has to be an uncontested scrum. And then Matthew Carley was like, no, he is a front rower. They can just bring back Peter Movaka to replace him. And that's exactly what they did. And it was it was just interesting to see that Matthew Carley was like, did you fail your test, mate? Did you fail your test? And really interesting. Really funny moment, I think. And finally, the big man, the man that I think was truly the difference between the two sides, is the captaincy held by Anton Dupont, really taking up another level, realizing his team was struggling. And you can see that he's been doing a lot of training in the sevens because, in the sevens, everybody has to contest the breakdown. And Dupont was getting those turnovers at the breakdown in crucial moments in front of his try lines, just getting those penalties in kicking range at the breakdown. And it was just absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen him get so many. I can't even remember before this game, seeing him getting breakdowns. Obviously, I don't watch top 14. I don't remember seeing him getting any breakdown turnovers in Test rugby. It's just very rare for a halfback to do that, and he was just dominant. He was probably got most breakdown turnovers this game out of all of his teammates. That's how good he was in this game. And also the absolute pinpoint accurate kicking game. 250-22s this game was just incredible. Incredible player, man of the match performance, and that turned out to be the difference. When the team is struggling, when everybody's clunky, not able to not able to execute the game plan, it's up to the captain to lift the game, and Dupont truly did that. And Leinster, wasn't able to do that. It was kind of just like, you really look like a headless chicken, especially in that final 10 minutes of extra time, and just giving away silly penalties that really was not necessary at all. The one thing that did go well for the Leinster was the scrummaging. Andrew Porter was absolute monster this game. He played over 100 minutes. King Healy came on to replace him and was immediately taken off for the HIA. So Porter had to come back on, and 100-minute Ironman effort from Andrew Porter, dominated the scrum from start all the way to finish. Unbelievable, just unbelievable performance for that man, Andrew Porter from Leinster. So yes, outside of that, there was one yellow card against James Lowe in the first half of the extra time, which allowed State Toulouse to get their first try on the board in extra time. And then when Richie Arnold was sent off, Leinster got themselves the first try on the board with Josh van der Fleer crashing through. Again, interesting decision there by the referee. The on-field referee said the ball was over the try line. I saw it. And then the TMO was like, yeah, the ball is on the ground, but I'm not sure if the ball is actually on the ground over the try line. And the referee's like, I saw it over the try line, good enough for me, and that try was given. I didn't think that was quite correct, the way that it should be decided, because the ball might be on the ground before the try line, and then the referee maybe only saw the ball over the try line after the ball had been dragged past the try line, right? Like, yeah, it was not the right decision, like logic there from the referee. But I think the try, to be honest, I did think the try was scored. But yeah, it was a little bit iffy the way they concluded that try was grounded. So let's have a look at the match stats of the game. Where's the match stats? Oh boy, where is it? Here it is. Let's have a look at the match stats of the game and see exactly what happened. 31 points to 21, 1 tries apiece. 8 penalties kicked for Toulouse, 5 for Leinster, and that turned out to be the difference. The discipline really hurt Leinster. There was actually 2 drop goals from Leinster, both missed, and Kieran Crowley really had a lot of time to work with both drop kicks. He was pretty much uncontested. He could have probably taken another 5 seconds to kick those, and still nobody would have touched them. And still wasn't able to land those. Yeah, I was going to say Johnny Sexton probably kicked that, but bit of a moot point at this point. Meters made, 585 meters for Leinster. Like I said, plenty of opportunities, not executing. 404 for Toulouse, not getting themselves on the try scoring board for 80 minutes as well. And I think the most important thing here is that Leinster dominated the territory, dominated possession, and still, fell short on the scoreboard. Tackles made 258 for Toulouse, 137 for Leinster. 91 completion for Toulouse, 88% completion for Leinster. And here's where Leinster coaches Jax Nienaber will be pulling his hair out, even though he's already bald. I don't know. Maybe pulling his hair out his armpit, I guess. 19 turnovers conceded. I reckon about 5 of those are all from Anton Dupont at the breakdown. It was just incredible performance from the lad. Lineouts 21 for Leinster, 14 for Toulouse, 91% completion rate to 93. Scrums, 100% success rate. I do think that Leinster definitely had a scrum penalty right at the end to level this game. But yeah, Andrew Porter was absolute monster of the game, and incredible to watch him play, watch him execute those scrummaging, absolutely brutal. Meters gained 1,235 from kicking for Toulouse, 922 for Leinster. Penalty goals 8-5, already talked about that. And finally, the penalties, 15 to Leinster, 16 to Toulouse. Leinster did have a couple penalties early that was given to them. They decided to go for the tries. And yeah, again, Polish just not there. They were going backwards from 5 meters line out and ended up, outside the 22. That's how poor these attacks were. They did try. They did back themselves on their set piece, but it really didn't execute and wasted some of those opportunities. And 1 yellow card to James Lowe and 1 red card to Richie Arnold. Now let's have a look at the recap of the game. So, only penalties being kicked in the first 80 minutes or so. Toulouse almost got a try like a minute into the game. There was a ball that was towed forward by Malia. Dupont went down, got the ball, threw the ball back in field. You're probably going to see it in the thumbnail. Threw it back onto the field. Ball just in touch. So almost got there for Toulouse a minute into the game. 4 minutes of the game, there was a penalty against Leinster. Blair Kinghorn kicked this one 50 meters. I did not know Kinghorn was this good of a goal kicker. Looked like he's better than Finn Russell there. And definitely has more range than Finn Russell. It was insane. Kinghorn, I'm very, very proud of his efforts. 3 points to nil for him. 7 minutes into the game, there was a penalty at the breakdown. Jack Willis gets this one for Toulouse. 6 points to nil, another one for Kinghorn. And then Leinster, around 10 minutes mark, they had a penalty for themselves. They backed themselves to go for the 7. Really poor handling, going backwards. And wasn't able to execute there. 15 minutes into the game, first scrum. Porter already showing the dominance. 18 minutes into the game, a bit of a scrappy play from around the field. Toulouse gives way to penalty, and Leinster kicked this one after deciding that, the 7-point attempts hasn't been working out for them. Really want to get some points on the board. 3 points to 7. And 33 minutes into the game, there was a 50-22, pinpoint accurate 50-22 from Toulouse. And Anton Dupont did this, was just incredible. 36 minutes of the game, there was a scrum penalty to Toulouse. I thought this was a 50-50 call. It looked like, I thought, Andrew Porter probably wouldn't be happy about that. And the Toulouse kicked this one, 9 points to 3. Just before halftime, Toulouse had another penalty attempt. They missed that. And then when the clock is red on the 40 minute on the clock, Leinster decided to go for final one last attempt for a try. They try again. Execution wasn't there, but they did get the penalty inside the 22. They end up just taking the 3 points, going to halftime. 6 points to 9. 5 minutes into the second half, Leinster gets himself early penalty, leveling the game, 9 points apiece. And then Andrew Porter was just destroying the scrums left and right. 58 minutes into the game, another penalty to Toulouse. Kinghorn kicks this one through, 12 points to 9. And then at this point, it looks like Anton Dupont is struggling a bit out of the rucks. He's getting grabbed on the arm from people playing inside the ruck. I mean, again, this is probably a thing where he's just not really that much of an issue from the 7s game, because he's played a bit looser around the rucks, and you don't go to the breakdowns that often. So maybe he's just not aware. I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, he got grabbed a few times from that, and just resulting in the pass not going well for him. 64 minutes into the game, another penalty right in front against Toulouse. Leinster kicked this one, 12 points to 12, leveling the score. And then this game, and then you can start to notice that Leinster really struggling in the breakdown. Toulouse was committing 2-3 players every time into the breakdown, and Leinster was just not there. And this has resulted in just a bit more, the Leinster, again, just getting the opportunities inside the Toulouse 22 with that possession advantage, not able to execute, getting turned over the breakdowns again and again and again. 69 minutes into the game, Toulouse get themselves into Leinster half with a penalty that went for the maul, and the Leinster was penalised for side entry. Ramos tried to kick this one, and Ramos kicked this one, 12 points to 15. 77 minutes into the game, Leinster had a one last-ditch opportunity to try to win this game. There was a knock on by Thomas Ramos under the high ball. He was just really struggling a bit under the high ball, especially being challenged by Hugo Keenan. And there was like the biggest scrum of the game. Andrew Porter and his mates need to deliver. And sure enough, absolutely dominated the scrum on the Porter side as well and gets a penalty. And Leinster levels the game just before full time. And finally, on the 80th minute, there was a chance. Just before 80th minute, there was a chance for Leinster to steal the game before the final whistle with a drop goal. Absolutely no pressure. And Frowley missed this one. Yeah, he could probably, like I said, he could have taken like another 5-10 seconds to kick this and probably still had time to get that kick out. So extra time, 1 minute in extra time, James Lowe, deliberate knock on, got sent off for 10 minutes. And Ramos took the penalty for this deliberate knock on and he missed. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Toulouse was back in the front foot immediately. A couple minutes later, from the halfway point, King Kong ran down on the left-hand side. Looked like he knocked out Frowley, but turned out it was okay. The ball was spread out back onto the left-hand side. LaBelle ran 50 meters down the sideline with an extra play on the field. There was an overlap, and he scores into the corner. 22 points to 15 for Toulouse. A few minutes later, another 50-22 by Anton Dupont. Pinpoint accurate, absolutely insane. 7 minutes into the game, there was another penalty to Toulouse. They went for the maul. They went for the try. Turned that into a penalty, and Ramos kicked this one, 25 points to 15. And then a few minutes later, just before half time, it looked like Toulouse had just won the game. I thought Toulouse had won the game at this point because there was another breakdown and Anton Dupont was in it again, getting the turnover. And the referee lifted this up, turnover penalty. And again, this wasn't kickable range. It could have been another 3 points. And then TMO said, check. Richie Arnold clean out on Cian Healy on the head. Red card. In Super Rugby, this would have been a yellow card because Cian Healy did lift his head up. But it showed a little bit of difference in the interpretations of the law between North and the South. So this was a red card against Richie Arnold. And a massive turning point for the game. Because at this point, James Lowe pretty much came back onto the field or like a few seconds later, and Leinster decided to back themselves for the try just before halftime. So this attempt for Leinster to go for the try went for like 5 minutes into extra time. Yeah, I know, extra time during extra time in the first half. So you went to 5 minutes over the red clock before finally Josh Van der Fleer went in for the try. And like I said, referee said it was held up. TMO said it was on the ground. Some weird logic went through. Try time, fair enough, because I think it was a try, and but the process that they concluded this was a try was a little bit incorrect according to the law books. But anyway, so halftime scored 22 points to 25, and then it was looking like this could just be a one-sided affair for Leinster with a player in the bin for the remainder of the second half. Nope. 2 minutes into the second half, what's his name? The captain himself from Leinster, what's his name? What's his name? Yeah, Caelan Doris. He was on the ground and scooped the ball back to his teammate. And right in front of the referee, and he was just like, yep, that's an easy penalty. And Ramos kicked this one, 28 points to 22. Really just silly stuff at this point. 14 minutes into the extra time. Another breakdown penalty. Just really ill discipline. Toulouse gets another one, 31 points to 22. And then, yeah, with about 5 minutes left on the clock, Leinster was really trying to get themselves in the kicking range for a drop goal. They did manage to do so, that the drop goal missed. So finally the clock ticked red. They decided to go for one more try for some weird opportunity to potentially get a penalty, I guess, after try being scored, like I already talked about. They went for it, but did not get any. Again, poor execution. I think it was like a knock on, and then like the ball was like loose on the ground, and then the player that scooped up ball got pushed out. Yeah, it wasn't good enough. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about this game, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Fijian Endura versus Highlander for the top A spot in Super Rugby. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.